Hey everybody, welcome back to Dream Garage, giving you some quick updates and also some news in the YouTube world for automotive that I wanted to share real quick over the last week of some videos that I saw and just some information that I've gathered over that time. But first, huge update that we finally got the Cadillac, found a builder. So we have somebody that's willing to take this project on. Huge shout out to Chris Latello. He is from Randolph County, which is where I'm from originally. And I've been having such a hard time getting the Cadillac somewhere to get fixed. It's been very frustrating. That is part of ultimately what we want to get into here at Dream Garage, is so that way people have somewhere to go, that we can do their projects. They're not going to feel like, you know, this is going to take years or it's going to cost $1 million. I'm exaggerating, obviously, but it was so frustrating trying to find somebody to do this job. I called multiple places, talked to multiple people. I would be told that this should be cheaper, that this shouldn't be that hard to do. But then every time I talked to somebody, it was, we're not interested, or we can't give you the answers, or, you know, we don't know. And it just got really frustrating. So huge shout out to Chris Latello. They are taking this project on. There's a machine shop out of Greenville, Ohio, if I remember correctly from what he told me, that if the engine indeed needs rebuilt, they will take that on and do it. And it's not going to cost a huge arm and a leg, definitely going to cost an arm and a leg, but this will be the last time the car is sitting like this without the engine fixed. Now, as you can tell, there's a discrepancy in the suspension on the back to the front. That is because the battery being dead, I am going to have to buy one before the end of the week, so that way we can get the suspension up, because it is being towed. Like I said, the vehicle has not been running properly. It overheats, so we cannot drive the car in the current state. So the car is going to be leaving, going to Randolph County, going to get diagnosed, make sure there's nothing we can do to save the current motor as it sits. If not, the original motor will be fully rebuilt so this car can be back on the road. Now, updates on the 442. The 442 has been sitting here, obviously with the Cadillac not running properly. I have not moved this car. So it has just been sitting up there looking pretty. We are still in a state of trying to sell that car. It is a beautiful car. There's nothing wrong with the car, but it's just not in our timeline at the time with everything else we have going on. Projected that the Z06 for us should be here this year. Just to create some more capital, it's time to move the car. So we will be continuously trying to sell that in that as well. So Corvette, the C8, haven't got to drive it much this year. As far as the winter, obviously in Indiana, it is not great weather. The last time we drove it was actually in the Z06 video reveal. If you have not seen that video, I will put that in the bubble up at the top. Please click on that, check that video out. It is really well done. Mike did a great job on it to get it done. So was able to drive the car that day. It's nice enough right now. It's in the 40s and 50s, so we could have drove it today, but other things were going on, so just didn't have quite the time to do so. So the car has been sitting here, but we will be getting that out shortly. The Maserati has been an ongoing saga as well. It has got an electrical issue. It is drivable. You still have a lot of the power, but it does not have all the power because there's a problem either in the ECM or in the wiring harness. And it has taken multiple days and still not figured out as to what's going on. So we are still getting that diagnosed. Sometimes electrical problems do take some time to get diagnosed, to make sure not only are they diagnosing the proper part, not just throwing parts in and realizing I need to do more. So I understand the time frame with electrical issues. Newer cars have so much technology, it's ridiculous. So that is the update on the Maserati. On the Ford, I was going to do a full video on this, but I'm going to recap quickly just because I wanted to touch on a couple things in this video. So the truck had a monumental repair bill. Luckily, in doing finance for a living, warranties are just mathematically cheaper now than paying them on your own. That is dependent on how they're priced and obviously the company and things like that. But the warranties we sell, They're top grade, and they do cover what they say they're going to. And this truck was a prime example. It's 6-inch lift, has 37-inch tires. There was a backup camera problem, a power mirror problem. There was a death wobble in the truck, so the front suspension. There was a powertrain problem, and all of those things were covered under the aftermarket warranty that was purchased, and it was a $5,200 repair bill that was paid by the warranty company. And warranties cost less than that in general, so I made out like a bandit, which I have done on her car as well. The Maserati has had over $6,000 in repair bills in the last year. And no, they do not have a lot of miles. The Maserati only has 41 or 42,000 miles. The truck has 72. So they're not driven hard. They're taken care of. They're not, you know, racing every weekend or pulling things that shouldn't. But, you know, they're electronic monsters. So they're going to have repair bills. And I talk about this every single day. Now, on to the bigger part of the video. And two things that I wanted to address that I actually talk about a lot in the car business every single day. So I don't know if you guys watch Stradman. If you haven't, it doesn't pay me to say this, but go check him out. He has a huge following. He has 15 cars in his fleet. He's got a multi-million-dollar house. He has fully been a true success story of becoming a YouTuber and making your dreams come true. And for somebody that's in the automotive YouTube world, you know, you can't help but congratulate and be happy for him for everything he's overcome. He bought a Lamborghini before he ever had a house. You know, he was kind of taking the risk on his own, going far past probably what I would have done, just because I'm such a conservative. But he was able to take a dream and truly make it a reality. And he gets to be around so many cool people, so many fellow YouTubers, drive so many cool cars, and live his dream. And I think that's amazing. But one of his recent videos kind of goes into why, for me, I am not 100% fan of the electrical vehicle market yet. I understand why people talk about it. I understand that we are trying to transition to that kind of lifestyle where electric vehicles are the main transportation. I will be one of the last people to switch personally, just because everything I do, you have to travel farther. I'm not willing to sit for 45 minutes to 50 minutes to charge. I'm not willing to pay an electric bill when it's just as expensive in ways as gas, just depending. Obviously there's different variants, and some of you might be all about electrical vehicles, and I am not downing it. I understand the need for it. I also understand that's where the market is trying to go to, but we are years before that's going to be realistic. And his video on his Hummer is a perfect example of that. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, or you haven't seen it, go check it out, because the experience he had to go through to take that vehicle 250 miles, I think is where he went, to one of the best, I think it was a like off-road complex. There were some crazy angles and hills and things where that Hummer with the crab walk and being able to lift the vehicle and lower it on command, I mean, it's really cool. But he got stranded, and it cost him a hotel room, multiple night journey, and multiple bills on the electrical side just to get the thing back home. Now, discrepancy of, was it the vehicle's fault? Was it the smart charger's fault? Was it the fast charger versus slow charger's fault? There was a lot of things that happened, but I can't deny that for me, I would have been ready to sell the vehicle as soon as I got home. I'm all about convenience. And so for me, I understand, like I said, the need for an electrical vehicle. I get that there's a ton of following for it. There's a lot of people for it, but there's a lot of things that aren't talked about when somebody talks about an electrical vehicle, and that is how much it costs to actually charge it. So, you know, everybody wants to talk about there's no gas involved, but you still got to pay an electrical bill for that vehicle, and you might have to upgrade your garage to actually charge it, because if you want to charge it in a timely manner, you can't just plug into a 110. Now, depending on the vehicle, Tesla, Hummer, GM, versus Ford or whatever brand, you know, they're all trying to market their situation where they might say that a 110 only takes 8 hours, a 220 might only take 4 hours. but the infrastructure is just not there, and you do still have to pay to put miles available on your vehicle to travel. So whether you're paying for gas, diesel, or electrical power, you're paying per mile something. So, you know, it's not that the tilt is so much that electric is so much cheaper than gas, even at the height, but the inconvenience is my biggest thing. And watching that video, I felt for him and his girlfriend, because I'm literally sitting there watching this video going, I couldn't have been that patient. I couldn't have handled things the way they did. There's just no way. I mean, you know, like I said, they went to 2 different towns, had to have the vehicle towed. They had to stay the night somewhere. They had to walk over a mile just to get to a hotel, then have to go back the next day because it was going to take 12 hours. It didn't fully charge the battery. They finally got back home. It just way too much problems for me to even entertain it. I think the Hummer EV is a phenomenal vehicle. I think what they did with it's great, but I just feel like the infrastructure is just not there. I mean, you know, it takes 45 minutes to 50 minutes to get a fast charge done. Just not realistic. So, you know, for me, I'm going to stick with what I like, and knowing I can go to a pump within 4 minutes, I'm back on the road. I'm good with paying for gas. Now, the other thing, and we did the reveal on the Z06, there's been multiple YouTubers that are either clickbaiting or truly selling their Z06 prior to the 6 months of ownership. And, you know, I am not blaming them. I'm not talking bad about them. Stradman has his online now. There's different times where just unfortunately things happen. Life changes. You know, out of the cars that you have, that's the one that you have to get rid of. And for whatever reasons those are, I'm not downing that or docking somebody. That is their personal choice, and that's why they own it, so they can do what they want with it. Now, GM does have stipulations. You have to own the car for 6 months to be able to obtain the $5,000 worth of GM rewards points. The warranty stays with the vehicle if you sell it. And then obviously they do, I don't know that this is facts, but I have heard that it might prevent you from being able to get future specific vehicles of things like a ZR1 or Z06, maybe like a specialty Camaro, or, you know, an EV truck or something. So GM has been very specific on that. Now, you know, I've heard some mixed emotions about there's stipulations to owning the Z06. Being in a GM dealership employee, I don't really think it's a big deal, because GM employees have stipulations, and they have for years, and it's been 6 months. Now, it doesn't void a warranty, but if you get the GMS price and you sell it prior to that, or you try to, it actually can prevent you from getting that discount in the future. So for somebody that knows GM, I don't think that owning the car for 6 months is a big deal, in a sense of what you would lose, you know, to lose it prior. Just keep the car 6 months and sell it and move on. But like I said, I am not judging anybody on YouTube that is trying to sell or have sold their car before the 6 months. Okay. However, that is why, for me personally, I've been stressing that when I get the car, I'm buying this car to keep it. Yes, eventually I'm sure that I'm going to sell it, because I'm not going to keep the car for 20 years. Now, if my funds allow it, sure. I mean, it's a phenomenal car. It's far beyond any kind of predecessor to this car. So I mean, obviously, if I can afford to keep it for 10, 20 years and keep growing our business and keep growing the collection, I'm in. But, you know, realistically, I mean, I flipped, looking back today, I was at my accountant's for filing taxes, and literally 4 out of the 5 vehicles I switched this last year. So last year we had the Escalade, we had a yellow Z06, we had added both the Eldorado and the 442, got rid of a truck. We had an 01 Silverado. Now we have the diesel, her Maserati, the C8 got added this year, the Z06 went away. So there's a lot of flips that happen in the course of a year, especially when I'm trying to bring more content for you guys and bring more light on certain cars or do more things with them. So I understand that and have no judgment on anybody for that. But I always appreciate somebody that's buying the car for the right reasons, knowing that they're trying to keep the car long term. And so there's a lot of controversy, a lot of people that have a firm opinion about selling the car prior to the 6 months or just buying the car to flip it. Is it fair? Is it worth it? Shouldn't these people not get first up when there's other people that just want the car to keep and they don't have a desire to sell it? They're not going to sell it. And I'm going to leave those opinions to you guys. I'm not here trying to put my foot in the mud one way or the other. The only thing I will tell you is, for me, I personally believe in keeping the car if you're trying to get it, that, you know, hopefully you will enjoy the car for what it is and actually take the time to get to know the car, take it to events so other people can see, because there's only so much percentage of people that's going to actually have these cars. So you definitely want to share this with the world, because there's a lot of people that might not be able to afford it or might never see one in their lifetime. So you want to make sure that if you're getting this car, share it with others in the sense of let them see the car, drive it when it's nice out, you know. So again, I'm not sitting here judging anybody, but, you know, I did feel like I needed to address that. The electrical issue, or as far as EV vehicles, that has been a huge topic for the last couple of years of, you know, I've been getting calls from people, how quickly do you think this is going to become an EV market? And I'm like, well, it ain't going to be near as quick as you think, because especially in the Midwest, we don't have an infrastructure that allows for that. So, I wanted to go over updates on this stuff. Like I said, huge update on the Eldorado. Very, very excited. That car is getting picked up in the next couple of days. I'm going to get shipped over there so that way he can get cracking on that. And based on timeline, in the perfect world, definitely should have this car back by the time that we go to the event of Motor Madness 2023. We will be having our first meeting in a month, so we will go through that, and then we will make sure we have our new flyer up on social media, and we officially have our own website. So this is not the social media stuff. We have an official website. It is www.dreamgarage317.com. So if you haven't seen it, and most of you probably won't have because it just got released, please go check that out. All our social media pages are always linked in the description below, and make sure that you check those out. We are going to have some merchandise coming, and that will be on our website so you guys can purchase and support us. If you haven't subscribed yet to the channel, please do so. Hit the notification bell. Hope you guys are having a wonderful day, and we will see you in the next one.